Rob Thompson, Karl Schoening. Halftime.
It's halftime. I'm Karl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson.
Yep.
James Pledger is why you should be watching us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, SASportsStar.com.
Go there first. We're graded on.
Because he is wearing the Doctor Strange cloak. I love it. What is that? What is it?
He's fighting crime. Talk about a camel hair trench coat.
Is that the McGruff, the fighting crime dog?
Columbo.
Columbo, okay.
Doctor Who. Constantine.
See, Doctor Who, I've heard great things of, never seen it. So I'll have to check that out.
Is that the British? Man, yeah, there was a little late 60s kind of fever dream to Doctor Who. It was a weird one.
Oh, it's still going.
Is it still going?
Oh, yeah.
Is it that still going, or did they bring it back? They brought it back, I'm pretty sure.
No, it's still going. What the thing about the Doctor is he reincarnates and the different actors play him in different roles, and this time it's a woman.
Okay.
What if? That was the first what if.
All righty. Hey, what if is actually pretty solid. I know you're not into cartoons, but
man.
It's okay.
I really did. I hear great things about the writing. No, I tried, man. I can't.
Did you?
I did. I've watched all of the first one. Which one was the first one? And part of
that
another.
Was Captain Carter.
Yeah. No.
It starts getting good around the third.
I was about to say, so far, that one's actually the worst. They started off with the worst one.
That's unfortunate because it really turned me off. And I wanted to like it. James has dragged me kicking and screaming into the Marvel Universe. And some I have thoroughly enjoyed. Others I have not. Like the series that went on last year, WandaVision, not so much. There was a little self-involvement for me. But the other ones, I thoroughly enjoyed. The Captain America one, that was great. That was really enjoyable. That was stellar television. So I'm in. I'm just not in on the cartoon.
So we do want to talk sports on the show. Although we do enjoy the Marvel, we do enjoy the entertainment, as there's plenty of entertainment to be had. We're going to talk NBA news. There's some rumors and there's some reports. We'll see what we got in there. Joining us at 12:30 will be Derek Pittman, head coach of the UTSA women's soccer team. They're off to the best start in their program's history, and they start Conference USA play Thursday.
Where are they heading?
No. It's here at the Park West Athletic Complex.
Who's coming in? We're going to whip.
Old Dominion.
ODU.
Yeah. Maybe a team that is going to be in conference realignment as things shake up. Conference USA might lose a couple of teams, including UTSA.
I would imagine so.
Not something we can talk with Coach Pittman about, but something worth keeping an eye on. I don't know if he knows anything, as Pledger gives me the shrug. Why not? You never know. It might be something worth just throwing out a question mark of him as he enters his fourth year, and he's turning that program around, it looks like. We have some Cowboys news as they're making some shifts and changes along the offensive line, and we'll hear from good old Jerry Jones, a.k.a. the coach via proxy.
Dude, you're stuck on that.
He is.
He's not.
It's his
I think you've
playpen.
got I think that narrative for the first 20 years of ownership was absolutely true. There's no question. The picture of him putting on his James Pledger trench coat when the team was down by 7 or up by 7 with about 4 minutes to go, and the stroll down the sideline to go stand near his coach to let everybody know he was up. That's gone. I think over the last couple of years it has decreased. And when we do hear things like, what does Jerry say? What does McCarthy? It's, asking the same question to two different people at two different times and expecting or hoping that you get different answers to find a rift. I don't think Jerry is nearly as involved as a lot of people who just follow the Cowboys on the outside think that he is. He doesn't make the play calls. That's really not.
Oh, no, no. He can't do that stuff. He knows to stay in his role, but I think he knows he has to negotiate the contract.
Well, he is the GM.
Yes.
I mean, he has more power than any GM in history, but he doesn't go, I shouldn't say doesn't. He just hasn't lately. You're right. For a long time, he was in the way. He was doing everything counter to what a productive football team can do, except spend the money. He was more than willing to do that.
You don't want to miss this conversation at 1:30, but I want to start off somewhere else. Aaron Rodgers, one of my favorite players. To a fault, I drafted him every year on my fantasy team for several years. Even though he was underwhelming some years, I would go early and pick him up. he obviously had some drama going down in the offseason. And you know what? I thought despite that drama, he would come out and just be an absolute baller, be an MVP candidate, and he could be no further from that. He looked like, as Carson Palmer said, he was playing with cement shoes on. He gets called out by a former teammate of his, Jermichael Finley, who played for him for a little while, but he was on this morning here, if you were tuning into San Antonio Sports Star in the 6 a.m. hour, talking with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. And let's hear what he had to say real quick.
What would you say to fans who hear you talking about him now and have the suspicion, man, Jermichael Finley just has an axe to grind with this guy and he's waiting to criticize? How would you respond to fans who think that listening to you?
No, I'm glad you asked that question. But once again, man, I got my paper, I got my bread, I got my money. I'm totally fine over here. My thing is that the guy is just. I'm not a hater. I'm looking out. Actually, I just want the guys to do their best and play Packer football. And once again, brother-in-law, it doesn't do it. And I think Love is going to be ready for the job here pretty soon. So. Can't wait to see the youngster play.
Love is going to be ready for the job, but Rodgers, to be fair to Aaron Rodgers, just came off arguably his best season. They were in the NFC Championship game. He threw 40 touchdowns against negative 10 interceptions, whatever it was. Do you think he fell off that quickly?
Bro, it's the National Football League. Each offseason you got to work like it's the last season. And I just don't see a work ethic in Aaron Rodgers that I have in previous years. And actually, you can see it right through his helmet. The eyes and the face tells everything of the personality. And I just don't see it, that NFL hunger and just feel hungry to go win another championship. I just think it's cliche and talk that guys get up there and say, oh, I want to win a championship. It sounds good, but I want to see what you do on the field.
Aaron Rodgers is not hungry anymore. I can see it in his face too. Anytime I see an interview with him, he looks dejected. He looks like he's tired. His beard is getting a little gray. He's 37 years old, and anybody who plays professional sports will tell you that once you hit 30, you got to work a lot harder to be in shape. It's not as easy. And somebody who knows him a lot better than either of us, Jermichael Finley, can say he sees it in his eyes. And I start to see it because I can't unsee it. I've seen him on my TV all morning. Aaron Rodgers does not care about playing for the Green Bay Packers anymore. And this is probably the beginning of the end of Rodgers, at least in Green Bay. There's no more relax speeches coming anymore. There is you know what? It's not on me anymore. And I think that people are going to get tired of it. I, for one, had Rodgers maybe going back-to-back MVPs. Not this year. No, not anymore. I'm week one. I'm already out. He might turn it around and become a decent quarterback.
You're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers.
All right.
I'm talking about 37-year-old. I wanted to be traded all season. I didn't want to show up to any of the offseason stuff. I didn't want to play in the preseason because I'm Aaron Rodgers. And I agree that once upon a time, I said Aaron Rodgers doesn't need no preseason. That was 2 weeks ago, sure. But you know something? And I'll change my mind if he proves me wrong. At the moment, the way it's looking, Rodgers is not somebody who has that locker room. And I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later an executive decision is made and Jordan Love becomes the starter.
Dude, you want to talk about a hot take? Can you imagine a world where they would bench Aaron Rodgers after all they went through over the off season?
By the first bye week.
You think that Aaron Rodgers will not finish the season? That's a hot take.
It's a James Harden fat suit situation. He is going to play, but he's going to begrudgingly play, and he's going to look disinterested. He's not going to put up points. And if the Green Bay Packers see the writing on the wall, they're going to throw in Jordan Love, who is ready, as Jermichael Finley points out.
Well, why didn't he just sit out? Why did he even come back? He could have easily sat out.
Ego. I think Aaron Rodgers thinks he could just roll out and be the best quarterback in the league.
Well, there is no proof to the negative here. I mean, certainly he looked awful, and everything you're just describing came into play in the game one. Disinterested, unprepared, rusty. You can find any other adjective you want for it. It was a god-awful performance. But this is Aaron Rodgers. This is an MVP who is one of maybe 3 NFL players, maybe 3, that is capable of carrying a team at the very least to a conference title game. Alone. And maybe without that hungry, Green Bay falls off. I'm just not ready to jump off that train yet, man. I mean, Jermichael Finley, fighting Longhorn, good Texas kid, ended his career a little bit abruptly, the terrible injury we saw at Texas Stadium. Has been on with the Blitz with Minix and I over the past couple of years. We've had Jermichael on before, and he's had some correct insights, I do believe, not only on Aaron Rodgers, but also on his former coach, Mike McCarthy. So I do trust what Jermichael has to say, and I don't think he has an axe to grind, but I think he is dead wrong there. I think that it was, in some instances, I think they were flat. It was a poor game plan, and just like in tennis, when you start losing that first game, you punt. Lose 6-1 instead of 6-5. Just punt. Let it go. Game, set, match, or game and set. Just punt it. Go get the next game. And I got the feeling that's what happened. But I'll tell you what, I will start agreeing with you, Karl, if we see it for 2 more consecutive weeks. I'll start jumping on. I'll take my medicine. I was dead wrong on Matt Stafford. I didn't think that he would be as free and happy as he is. And maybe I'm completely wrong with Aaron Rodgers, but I do think that Aaron's got an axe to grind, and an angry Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback.
An angry Aaron Rodgers 2-3 years ago, yes, was a good quarterback.
Well, last year he was an MVP.
Emotions are not going to change anything when it comes to physical preparedness. He is not physically prepared to be an NFL quarterback right now. That's what I'm getting at. He spent all offseason doing his Jeopardy, doing his celebrity golf tournaments, saying, I won out. Hey, if he gets traded to the Eagles, maybe he gets serious that last month of the offseason. He gets traded anywhere. He gets serious. He feels the energy. He looks like he is just in a desperate need of a change of scenery. And if I were the Green Bay Packers, I would have seen it too. 37 years old, doesn't want to be here. Maybe he's only going to be here at the most 3 more years. Get assets for him. You slapped him in the face by drafting defensive players or Jordan Love with your first-round picks for the last several years. Not offensive linemen, not receivers, not running backs. You went defense or his replacement the last several years with first-round picks in Green Bay. He sees that. He says, you know what? I want to be out of here. They're like, no, we have your rights. You can't just say you want to be out of here and we'll trade you. Who do you think you are, Brett Favre? Nope. He's not Brett Favre, even though he puts up similar numbers and all those things and similar storylines. It's one of these things where Brett Favre got what he wanted, an outright release to where he could sign with the Jets. They decided not to do that this time around.
Well, that is a remarkably hot take, Karl. And I think I'm a little bit more world weary. I don't think it's quite as difficult or strained as you think. And if they benched him, they'd lose the team.
I disagree. I think that the team is going to be angry with Aaron Rodgers, and they'll be behind Jordan Love before the end of all this.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I just know the reaction to the Packers when he was holding out, and it was not, we got Jordan Love, we should be good. It was Aaron Rodgers who came to the defense of all these players that the Packers chose not to play. He stood up and said, you should have paid this guy, and you should have paid that guy, and you should have paid that guy, and that guy, and that guy. Yeah, you paid me, but you didn't do enough to help everybody out. And it wasn't about drafting. It was about allegiance to players on the team. And if I'm sitting there and I'm hearing my quarterback saying, you should have paid him more, I'd have taken a little bit less. You should have taken him and kept him, we would have won. That keeps me. I don't think he would. That locker room is, if it ain't 100%, is 95% behind Aaron Rodgers. I can't imagine a situation where it's not. Now,
maybe in 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. Now, in 2 more weeks, fortunes change for sure. I would bet the over on Rodgers touchdowns, though. I don't think it's all done yet. He has an aptitude of playing possum. We'll see. Oh, and he also looks like, I saw a meme, looks like a guy that steals catalytic converters right now, which I think is the perfect description of Aaron Rodgers' brand new look, greasy-haired bomber jacket.
And that's what I'm getting at, is he doesn't have the Aaron Rodgers look anymore. He used to be a pretty clean-cut guy, clean-shaven or a well-maintained beard. He's not even putting in the beard dye anymore.
He's gone to Hollywood.
He's just, it looks like he's preparing for a movie where he's playing a guy that's down on his luck. Maybe that's what it is. He's down on his luck. He didn't get his way. And that first game against the Saints, yeah, sure, the defense gave up a lot of points, but you didn't give them any support. 3 points, no touchdowns. Really, Rodgers? Really?
Yeah, it was awful. Absolutely awful. You know, as we come to work every day, the headlines pile up. We get in the morning, we get you caught. It's lunchtime. We know you're heading over to get something to eat. Sitting in the drive-through lane, Karl's got all the headlines you need to be fully digested when you get back to work. What do we got, Karl?
Karl's Countdown.
Headline 2. Maybe Aaron Rodgers just needs Josh Gordon. The NFL Players Association has asked that he be reinstated by the league. Where's he going to end up?
Man. Did Michael Gallup's on IR, right?
Ooh.
Jerry always needs a project. How many times have we seen him? 5 times suspended? Most recently with the Seahawks. Bill Belichick gave it a shot. Cleveland gave it a shot. Pete Carroll gave it a shot. He'll play. There's no question about talent. And in the modern era where marijuana might not be so important to the NFL, maybe it'll get him in there. I would give him a shot. Antonio Brown was as hot as it could be. You did not want to touch that. But he got in with Tom Brady, a player that he respects, and an organization that will give him the room he needs, but keep him on the reservation all at the same time. Maybe the Cowboys could do it. Somebody will get Josh. He's too good.
Well, it's tough for the Raiders. They picked up a win on Monday Night Football, but they're concerned that Marcus Mariota and Yannick Ngakoue have suffered long-term injuries. What do you got there, Pledge? Say it correctly for me. Ngakoue.
You also left off Gerald McCoy, who went down as well.
And I was just about to say Gerald McCoy out for the season with a torn ACL. It's a tough job being in the NFL. It's a 100% injury rate league, but man, I feel like there's more than ever. Maybe it's because I'm keeping up with the headlines more often, but just before the season, all the Ravens players, they had back-to-back, I think it was back-to-back ACL tears.
Yeah, 3 running backs down. Gerald McCoy going down, that's a sad story. Just cannot stay healthy at all. A Buccaneer mainstay, a short-time Panther. We never even saw him in a Cowboy uniform, and he played, 3 snaps against the Raiders? I think it's done for Gerald. Raiders are in trouble. If without Ngakoue, that's a painful loss. They can survive without Gerald McCoy. Ngakoue hurts, and Mariota, and I feel bad for that cat too. Can't stay out of his own way.
There was a time where I was hoping the Eagles would trade for him to reunite him and Chip Kelly.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, well, you never know. Change one thing and change everything.
That's true.
That's how it goes. You didn't say that into the mic. What'd you say, Pledge?
You were serious about that?
I was serious about that?
Hey, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad there. I wouldn't have minded Mariota, but it turns out that Ryan Tannehill beat him out for a job in Tennessee. And headline 0, the Buffalo Bills are going to require fans at their games to be vaccinated against COVID-19.
It's New York, man. The precedent's been set to go to a Knick game in Madison Square Garden, to go to restaurants. You got to be carrying a card. Not surprised the Bills did it as well.
And those are your headlines as Karl's Countdown. It was
Keep
all
you updated.
NFL. I usually try to mix it up with some other stuff, but all NFL right now as we're approaching week 2. We have some comments to catch up on as Prince Obi-Wan says in his comments. You know, a lot of people wanted to chime in on the Aaron Rodgers thing. Prince Obi-Wan says he wanted to spend time with his 10 years younger wife. That's true. Aaron Rodgers has dated around, but he finally found a wife. So maybe that's the other thing, too. He's getting a little fat and happy being married.
Maybe that's it.
Maybe that's part of it.
We'll blame Danica then. She should have done a better job.
Keeping him around.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and then that's why he was working out so much, because it was Danica Patrick and he had the whole dual professional athlete thing going there. You got to stay thin if you're a race car driver.
Yeah, you have to be lithe and danger free. I still cannot believe you think Aaron Rodgers is done.
I don't think he's done. I think he's done with the Packers. He's so done with the Packers that he needs to go somewhere where they'll give him 3 weeks to get back in shape. I don't know if you remember, but in 2011, 2012, Dirk Nowitzki actually sat out 3 weeks because he admitted, I'm not in basketball shape after the lockout. And he went ahead and he said that those 3 weeks are going to suck, but he's going to come back in better shape. They didn't do anything on their title defense there, but
yeah, I was going to say, look where it got him.
Yeah.
So maybe that's at the end of the day. That's it. Hey, we got an interview coming our way. We want to make sure we got room for.
Hey, yeah, Derek Pittman, head coach of UTSA women's soccer, is going to join us. They're off to the best start in program history, and they start Conference USA play tomorrow at the Park West Athletic Complex. We'll get to him. We have more Spurs and NBA headlines to jump into, as well as it's Cowboys news. Of course, we got to talk Cowboys. Is this a must-win week for Dallas? Give you a stat on why it is here on Halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
Hey, sports bettors, I'm talking to you. I want to tell you about my favorite book, my only book. That's betus.com. Football gets going again tomorrow night. It'll be going on all season long. You want to make sure you're playing your money in a place you absolutely trust. That's why I endorse betus.com. That's the only one I've ever endorsed here at San Antonio Sports Star. They've been around for over 25 years. You know what that tells you? Well, the longevity is because of integrity. They pay on time, on target, and you need to know that you're going to get paid. That's the end of the day, right? You also need to make sure your sportsbook offers everything you're interested in playing, like live betting, live casino work, MMA, horses, golf, esports, all the great prop bets, all can be found at betus.com, and it is so easy to sign up. I want you to go ahead and write this now. Better yet, go ahead and dial it as I say it. 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US. Easy process. They walk you through all of it. And what really makes it easy is they handle all the typing. You just talk. Nobody in the industry gives you better bonuses than betus.com. And to get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit, all you've got to do is remember these 4 easy letters. KZDC. You say that, up to 200% in bonuses. And let me tell you, nobody beats that. I bet at BetUS, so should you. Join BetUS.com today. Start betting immediately with America's favorite sportsbook, my sportsbook, BetUS.com, where the game begins.
The college football tradition lives here with in-depth analysis and breakdowns from our team during the week of the Aggies, the Longhorns, UTSA, and more. Catch the gridiron action on Saturdays with live play-by-play from around the country. Bowl season. Let's go! The college football playoff and the national championship comes to life right here. Love it! On San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Central Builders Incorporated is a family-owned, award-winning general contractor headquartered in San Antonio. Since 1989, CBI has completed over $1 billion in construction projects, including large-scale remodeling, expansions, and ground-up construction. The award-winning CBI has also been recognized by the San Antonio Business Journal as one of the best places to work for the past 4 years, and Central Builders is hiring. Learn more at centralbuilders.net. That's centralbuilders.net.
O'Reilly. Ready for an oil change? Visit the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need. Right now, get 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for just $28.95 and earn double O rewards points with your purchase. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil. On sale now at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners to tell you they have the perfect solution for your family's complete water treatment. The top-of-the-line CareSoft Elite Plus 1 filter is an advanced 2-stage system built to protect your family from harmful contaminants that may be in your water. Right now, save $1,000 on the CareSoft Elite Plus 1 system while supplies last. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Learn more at alamowatersofteners.com. Again, the website, alamowatersofteners.com.
This back-to-school update is presented by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. In Philadelphia, a group of teenagers are working to educate their classmates about the vaccine. Here's Philly Teen Vax Ambassador Angelique Kiasan.
There's a lot of false information out there, especially with social media being around, and we're there to spread real information.
Fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. The Exergen temporal scanner is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Learn more at exergen.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1,000,000-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by Utsa.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A grilled chicken club sandwich is the applewood bacon. It's savory, and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A grilled chicken club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the grilled chicken club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
It's halftime with Rob Thompson and Karl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Thank you for spending your midday break with us. Any moment now on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, we'll be joined by head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners women's soccer team, Derek Pittman. As Pledge looks like he maybe has somebody on the line. I'm Karl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. James Pledger and Edwin back there running the ship. It's a co-captain situation right now as Edwin has done a good job when he's had to step in as captain. He doesn't have a Twitter. You can't hit him up there. I'm at Karl ESPN. Pledger is at I am Pledger. Rob Thompson is at Rob Thompson ESPN. And we do have him on the line, head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners women's soccer team, Derek Pittman. Hey, coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, Coach Pittman, as you get ready for conference play, certainly your team is above and beyond reproach. At least the improvement has been marked. Talk to us about what preparation was like over the COVID summers and what you expect coming into the season.
No, it's a great question. Spring, last fall, even through the spring, definitely had, lots of adversity thrown at us, as did everybody across the country and across the world dealing with the different challenges that COVID presented. But very proud of how our players took the spring, although the results didn't go our way. I thought that we handled ourselves very well. The competitiveness, the toughness, the things that we went through and the challenges that we faced really prepared us for this season. I think our players did a fantastic job of recovering during the month of May, if you will, of just trying to recover and relax and just recharge, if you will. And then as we started to amp things up in June, all of our team was back here in July doing conditioning workout with our strength conditioning coach. And then we rolled the balls out, August 3rd and hit the ground running. So they came in very fit, came in very, strong, prepared, and like I said, recharged and ready to go for the season.
Now, y'all are off to the best program start in your UTSA women's soccer program history, 5-2-1. Going into conference play. Tomorrow, y'all take on Old Dominion. What has been the key here as you are in your fourth year at the helm of the team?
I think it's a lot of things, to be fair. I think our talent, the roster, the depth, the talent on the roster has continued to improve. We've been able to recruit some very talented players, but we also have a great crop of returners that are doing a great job from a leadership standpoint. And even our buy-in to how we're playing. I think it's just, it takes time to build something. And I think but the culture of where we are, our players' belief in who we are and what we're trying to accomplish every time we step on the field has been massive. And you've seen great strides in that and just their ownership and belief in how we're playing and the things that we're trying to accomplish. And on top of that, just the level of talent and the level of depth that we have in every position is better than it's ever been. We can go, 2 players deep in most spots, and to know that, whoever we bring off the bench or whoever starts from game to game is going to bring their absolute best, because the competitiveness in training has been fantastic.
Conference play, it always ratchets up a bit. Old Dominion coming to town. We'll get going at 7:00 tomorrow night out at Park West Athletics. When we go see, what kind of attack can we expect to see from your Lady Roadrunners?
I think you're going to see a lot, some really entertaining soccer or entertaining football. And the fact that we play very aggressive, we want to press our opponents into mistakes. We want to disrupt them defensively in how we try to win the ball back. And then once we get the ball, we talk a ton about playing forward first. We're not a team that plays east to west. We're a team that wants to go north and south. And as soon as we win it, we actually have stolen some stuff from basketball. We even use a shot clock in training. So as soon as we win the ball, how quickly can we create an opportunity at the other end? We want to play as fast as possible. Within 8 to 10 seconds, we want to create a goal-scoring opportunity and produce something at the other end in front of the other team's goals. So I think it's an entertaining style of soccer. I think it's fun for even the neutral fans to be able to come out and see that our players are very aggressive. They're very physical. We do not sit back and just, boring soccer, watching a team play the ball 5, 10, 15 times around the back. We're going to, try to disrupt that as quick as we can and score goals as often as we can.
Derek Pittman joins us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners women's soccer team. They're off to their best start in program history. But, Coach, on a more broad spectrum side of things, soccer's really started to pick up popularity in the country. Do you have any theories as to why that's starting to finally hit its stride?
Well, I think you can make an argument that's been the most popular sport across the entire world for a long, long time. I think it's just taken a little bit of time to get here to the U.S. And we've seen the growth of the game without a doubt here in the U.S. For the last probably 20 years, to be fair. MLS continues to improve. We finally have a strong women's league that continues to fight for rights to be able to be on TV and gain popularity. But, I just think what you're seeing is a lot of our best athletes that maybe 20 years ago were choosing to play basketball, football, baseball, or other sports. A lot of those, our best athletes here in the country are choosing to play soccer from a young age. And you're seeing the popularity and the talent level of the game continue to increase here in the U.S. And a lot of fans are really taken to that and enjoying it. And you're seeing that by packed stadiums at MLS games, even on the local and regional level with the USL here in Austin, San Antonio. There's a huge soccer community here in South Texas. So I feel like the game has continued to grow on both the men's and the women's side. And we want to be able to provide the most entertaining level of soccer we possibly can here in San Antonio for people to come out and, cheer us on.
Keeping it broad one more time with Derek Pittman, head coach of UTSA women's soccer. The USA Soccer has offered, this came out last night, men's and women's teams identical contract proposals. I don't know if you saw this news, but it's something that the U.S. Soccer Federation is kind of addressing, an issue of equal pay for both teams. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it's a delicate subject, but I think it's absolutely something. It's a step in the right direction. Our women's national team has been performing at an extremely high level for a long time, winning numerous World Cups and, Olympic medals and other competitions. Although some may argue that the men have more notoriety in the sense of sponsorship contracts and so on, I don't think it is anything to take away from how the women continue to produce and compete at the highest level, and they deserve that.
Absolutely.
So and it's nice to see U.S. Soccer finally step up and offer those contracts to the women that they absolutely deserve, because the production and the performances they continue to put on the field deserves recognition and absolutely deserves that fair pay for them. And so, I haven't dug into it and exactly what the new announcement is, but I'm glad to hear that they're moving in that positive direction to be able to give the women's teams what they have absolutely earned and deserve, for what they've accomplished.
The women are still underpaid. Even with parity, it's still not enough.
That's probably true, without a doubt. Though, they continue to produce high level players that are playing all over Europe, and it's growing on the men's side as well. But our men's team definitely hasn't produced the accomplishments that our women's team has absolutely accomplished over the last 15, 20 years.
He's Coach Derek Pittman joining us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines tomorrow night at Park West Athletic Complex. Free admission to anybody that wants to come out and see the Roadrunners start up Conference USA play. Coach Chris Hernandez on Facebook Live says, good luck against Old Dominion tomorrow. We say it as well. Thank you for taking the time joining us here on Halftime.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we're trying to pack Park West Thursday night. Come out and cheer the ladies on, and then, head over to the Dome on Saturday to cheer on Coach Traylor and the football team.
There we go. Winning programs breed winning programs. Thanks, Coach, for stopping by. Looking at the stats, Karl, I think you're going to have to get used to calling, what's her name, Ellis
Patterson?
She's
really good.
She seems to be the lead dog here.
Mm-hmm.
She's in just about every stat category across the Conference USA stat numbers, so
She had a goal from outside the penalty box to be the equalizer this past Sunday against Houston Baptist. And then in extra time, or overtime is what they call it in college, she was called offside in what would have been the golden goal. It was very exciting. It ended up being a draw, but I broadcast those games on conferenceusa.tv, cusa.tv. But instead of watching me, listening to me talk the whole time, hey, maybe you should go out. If not, it's great to see that UTSA is on the rise athletically here in the, as we start Conference USA, both for UTSA football, Middle Tennessee taking on Middle Tennessee State this weekend, and Old Dominion coming in for Conference USA start for women's soccer.
Also looking at the roster, I see Kendall Closa.
Kendall Closa is really good defensive player.
She would happen to be related to Danny Closa, head coach there at Lee. Is that correct? I believe so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
All in the family right there. I thought she had gone off someplace else to play. No, she played here. Go see UTSA tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. They get it going. Karl will be on the call if you want to find it. Where would find that?
ConferenceUSA.tv. They have their own platform for all the games. So it's part of the ESPN initiative, as I understand. So there's a lot going on there. It's great that these games are finally going to be streamed. It's taken a while, but that's just the world we're in.
Technology finally caught up with the absolute need to have it done. All right, Dallas Cowboy fans. First big decision of the year comes up this weekend. What are you going to do at right tackle?
And is this a must-win game for Dallas? I got a stat for you guys that says it is, at least in the 16-game season era. Now that we enter the 17-game season era, there might be a little room for debate, but figure out why we're talking about this being a must-win game for Dallas in LA against the Chargers this Sunday. Of course, you can always catch these games here on San Antonio Sports Star. Brad Sham will have the call. It's a 2:25 kickoff on San Antonio Sports Star. This is halftime on ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Ribs, burgers, chicken. Submit what you cooked on the grill or smoker, and you can win a $50 gift card from Tri-County Meat Market. Grilling with the Blitz. Online at sasportstar.com. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Texas Rangers bounced back against the Houston Astros in Game 2 of the Silver Boot Series, 8-1 last night, evening the 4-game series at a game apiece. The Rangers held Houston without a run until the 9th, thanks to a stellar start from Jordan Lyles, who went 7 shutout innings on the mound for Texas and only allowed 3 hits. Adolis Garcia had a great night at the plate, going 3 of 4 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a home run. For the Astros, Zach Greinke picked up the loss in his start, pitching 5 innings and allowing 8 runs on 5 hits with 3 walks. Game 3 is tonight with first pitch slated for 7:05. That can be heard right here on San Antonio Sports Star following the Blitz. And in San Antonio baseball, the Missions dropped Game 1 against the Hooks in their final series of the season, 9-4. Those are your baseball headlines. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Karl Schoening.
If you own or manage a growing business, you're an expert in your field. But you're not an expert in negotiating office, retail, or industrial leases. This can create an unbalanced and unfair situation. Landlords and their teams negotiate hundreds of leases every day, and they're great at getting what they want. You need an experienced team to level the playing field. I recommend you call Bottom Line Realty Advisors.
I'm Scott McMurray at Bottom Line Realty, and we can help you get the best possible price and terms on your office lease. We're different. We never represent landlords, and we only represent you. What you don't know can cost you thousands of dollars, and we can help.
Having Bottom Line Realty on your side doesn't cost you a dime. Contact Bottom Line Realty Advisors at 210-535-7800 and tell them Dave sent you.
Bottom Line Realty Advisors. We get the landlord off your bottom line.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
Terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ISSA online for details.
Hey, how'd you like to get paid to work out? Yes, I said get paid to work out. Now you can with ISSA, the global leader in personal fitness certification. If you're interested in a money-making career in fitness as a personal trainer, now is your time because ISSA is guaranteeing you will get a job. That's right. There's a huge demand for certified personal trainers right now. So once you get ISSA certified, they guarantee you'll get a job. Just text PRO to 323232 now to get started for free. You do everything at your own pace and 100% online. Live your life on your terms. Get certified and train like you want. Full-time at a gym, at home, or as a side hustle. Whatever works for you. Don't wait another day to start your career in fitness. Get certified and start making money fast. Guaranteed. Just text PRO to 323232 right now to get started with your ISSA certification for free. Text the word PRO to 323232.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. It's Diamonds Direct's most aggressive offer ever. Pick any item, get the super low price Diamonds Direct is known for, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest and 0 down. No exceptions. Don't miss this incredible limited time offer. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit only at Diamonds Direct at the shops at Lock Ontario.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
The real estate market is always tough, but this market, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. When the average home stays on the market just 24 days and houses routinely go for more than the listing price, who you work with matters. Realtors have the expertise, local knowledge, and personal touch to give you a competitive advantage throughout the entire home buying process. And that's something an ordinary agent could never do. So make sure your agent is a realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Taco Bell presents a get-out-of-bedtime story. It's time to wake up from this amazing dream, even though you're jet skiing on lemonade. How extreme! And oh, look at that, you just won the lottery. Is that a castle? Take the keys, it's your property. What's better than swimming in space? Just wait for the big reveal. It's Taco Bell breakfast and it's actually real. So it's time to wake up and bid your dreams farewell. Because toasted breakfast burritos are waiting for you, only at Taco Bell. Participating Taco Bell locations near you during breakfast hours only.
2 teams, 22 players, and over 100,000 screaming maniacs. Your home for Cowboys football on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Jason Minix on your home for Texas Rangers baseball. It's San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Thank you, Jason. Of course, you know you can listen to the Blitz at 4 o'clock every Monday through Friday. Always enjoy Jason and Pledge. It's a fun time. It gets you to where you're going, back home most likely if you're dealing with afternoon drive or maybe your happy hour, either way. Thank you for tuning in now here to your midday show, San Antonio Sports Stars Halftime. I'm Karl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Pledger and Edwin back there making sure that we sound good. James is just going away at the computer, letting Edwin make sure we're doing all right.
You have got to go check out at sasportstar.com the attire that James, he looks better than us once again. Fully dressed, red tie, matching kicks.
I thought we were going to the Met Gala later.
That was last night, but you do look like you're ready. I'm going to dress up as a Dementor like Kim Kardashian did. That would be my costume, my outfit. I got a question for you. One game in, you got game 2 coming up in a long NFL season. But there's a stat that you're about to hear that could scare you if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan. Because while there are still 16 games to play, history tells us that if you don't start at least moderately fast, your season's going to be long and at the end, ultimately unfulfilling.
You don't want to dig yourself into an 0-2 hole. Usually, if you start 0-2, we knew who you were, right? Maybe you make a good college effort by the end of the 16-game season, but this year it's 17 games. So we'll see if this trend maybe continues, and maybe it won't be the Cowboys as they take on the Chargers this Sunday out on the West Coast at that beautiful SoFi Stadium, the modern-day Roman Coliseum. It's an 0-2 hole that you want to avoid if you are an NFL franchise, because in the 16-game season era, only 11% of the time did an 0-2 hole team fight their way back and make the playoffs.
That is a crazy stat.
Because got that from Blogging the Boys.
But you think, your first 2 games, there are some coaches, we heard it earlier today, that treat the first 4 games of the regular season like it's still preseason. They're still trying to find their depth and their speed to go and get a playoff berth, and to think that only 11% chance.
It's an 11% of the time in the 16-win season. So maybe this year, with 17 wins, you have a little bit more of a chance. But think about it. Usually, if you start 0-2, you're probably not that good to begin with. Maybe there were some injuries. Who knows what's going on exactly. But a team that is like the Jacksonville Jaguars, they start out 0-2, and of course they're not going to make the playoffs, right? But if you're the Cowboys and you start 0-2, you don't like that stat because you have NFC East hopes to at least win the division and make the playoffs that route.
Well, the good news is, and I think you're exactly right. I mean, you can make a stat fit any one of the narratives that you want. And most teams that start out 0-2 are probably pretty bad anyway and had no intent on going to the playoffs. But there are those rare occasions when there are teams that have every expectation of going to the playoffs, lose game 1, try to adjust for game 2, over-adjust, lose game 2, and then suddenly chaos ensues. Internal strife, coaches' concerns. The solid teams can go 0-2 and still figure out a way to go, but I think the failure, the inability to be successful, maybe not failing, but just not being successful over the first 2 weeks, lends that pucker factor, start to crack, start to question some of the things you're doing that could further kind of hasten the collapse, I guess it would be, of the Cowboys. It's not must win. Let's not kid ourselves. But it is, in a sense, for a team like the Cowboys that can look around their division and say, well, the only real competitor that we thought we were going to deal with coming into the season, the Washington football team, lost their quarterback. Philadelphia might not have been primary on the concern list, but they now have to kind of focus on a Philadelphia team that seems to have a quarterback and a little bit more belief in the system than I think anybody expected. Now we'll have to see, they don't get to play Atlanta every week, but certainly it's not going to be an easy road, but no division is easier to win than the NFC East. So you don't have to be perfect to get there. But I do believe that for the psyche of the Cowboys, moral victories will get you so far. And the moral victory, I think everybody left Tampa, everybody that wore silver and blue, wasn't upset. I think they were kind of a little upset that they couldn't hold on and couldn't win it. But I think everybody got a passing grade. Everybody played well enough to be competitive against the world champion, but you lose to the Chargers. Then suddenly you start looking in the mirror.
So the Chargers defeated Washington last week. So they start off with 2 NFC East teams, and you think that they would hope that they go 2-0 as they're going to host them. The Cowboys, I never liked a team starting their first 2 games of the season on the road anyway. So there's also another built-in excuse or defense there for Dallas that, hey, you don't play in Jerry World until Monday Night Football week 3 against the Eagles. And then maybe the Eagles, I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but they're not going to be bottom feeders potentially. 1 game is already a nice enough lead, but you got to pay attention to that week 3 matchup, because if all of a sudden the Eagles are better than we expect and the Chargers get that SoFi Stadium boost and Dallas falls 0-3, then it start hitting the panic button. But hey, that's a nice little homestand they got coming up after that 2-game road trip to start the season. Philadelphia, Carolina, and then New York. So 2 division rivalries, and then it's a backloaded NFC East schedule where the last 5 weeks of the season, they're taking on Washington, New York, Washington, Arizona, obviously a non-game, and then a non-division matchup, and then Philadelphia to end the season at Philadelphia on the 9th. Only gripe I have on this, Rob, is that I wanted to go to Jerry World for an Eagles-Cowboys matchup this year, and it's a Monday Night Football game. I'm not going to be able to make R&R that Tuesday. I hope you mind.
I hope you can get tickets. If you do, you'll be our in-bed reporter. Yeah, I think that's going to be an exciting football game, much more exciting today than I would have thought even on Thursday of last week. The real question for the Cowboys is health on the offensive line. We'll get that settled this week, and if they do, they face a pretty easy schedule. The Cowboys have everything set in front of them, and the possibility of going 0-2 with this schedule, certainly something that they thought would be 1-1. I don't think anybody circled the Tampa Bay game and said that's a definite win.
And the fact that it was so close makes you feel a lot better about this team, especially the way Dak played.
It will. You feel good today, but I'll tell you what, you'll feel twice as bad if you lose to the Chargers, because then you start looking back at Tampa Bay instead of having the moral and the victory of the kissing your sister, you did just good enough, to looking back on all the missed opportunity. It goes from, we could have won, but hey, we feel good about ourselves, to you lose 2 in a row and you look back and you start looking at that defense. Why couldn't you stop them? Why did we miss the field goals? You start looking at yourself. Whereas the moral victory, we still feel good about ourselves until they get past and get an actual win, because a lose, I think, doubles the pain.
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. And, we talked about, the first game for 3 months, and now we talk about this second game for a whole week and a day. It's at least we answered the question of how long is it going to take Dak Prescott to start looking like Dak again? Oh, first snap. Wow. He came out and played right away. Now I think the question shifts back to, when is Zeke going to start looking like that $90 million running back again?
It appears, by what we've been told by Coach McCarthy, that there were plenty of opportunities to run. In fact, 28 of the play calls that were for runs, at least sent into Dak, 12 of those were, he opted out. He Omaha'd and took the ball out of Zeke's hands. So we were looking at Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator. We were looking at McCarthy for, why aren't you letting Zeke run? Well, it actually was happening on the field, and it was Dak checking out of a series of plays and not allowing him to run. I can tell you this. Cowboys cannot be successful like that. You can be close, you can win some football games, but success, as the Cowboys are measuring it this year, is playoff wins. And there needs to be at least one. And you're not going to get one playoff win throwing the ball 60 times a game. It won't happen for the Dallas Cowboys. At least as we sit today, that defense isn't good enough to withstand that.
We do love hearing from Coach Mike McCarthy, and Pledge has some sound just for you guys to hear.
I mean, really, I think it comes down, what's the definition of balance? And I think sometimes when the word balance is thrown out there, it gets, put in the view of it needs to be in a run or pass category. And that's not really true from our perspective. I mean, I think when you're looking at balance, particularly in normal down and distance, you want to make sure your run blocking unit and the pass protection unit have some balance. The point I'm making is the RPOs, the run blocking unit is still coming off the ball. They're still, and I know they get categorized as throws because the ball is thrown to the perimeter. So that's really, I think that the part that we pay attention to, because we don't want to, when you see, the first thing you see is when you see a team that's thrown the ball 50 plus times, you go, I know I do, from an offensive perspective, it's, oh my God, the tackles are on their heels the whole game, or the line is on their heels the whole game. But if 15 of those are RPOs, that's not necessarily true. So I think that's when we talk about balance, that's what we're talking to. We're not just talking about this many runs or this many passes.
I kind of think we are, Mike. I kind of think we are, because Coach Garrett, Jason Garrett, would literally keep count. I mean, he really wanted it 50-50. He wanted that at every time at the line of scrimmage, the defense literally, at least in his mind, because it had been 50-50 prior, wasn't going to have any idea what was going to happen. Well, that's just stupid. I mean, that's not, to me, that doesn't matter. But to say balance is more about how we're running when we're running the ball, I think that there is some balance required. He's gonna cover for Dak, but I do think Dak opted out of some runs that probably should have been called at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, yes, because I think Zeke is also a rhythm player. Just running backs, not always the situation. Zeke, yes, he likes to give me that feed me sign. He likes the energy of picking up a first down or, running behind that right guard, Zach Martin, which was not available against Tampa Bay. He will be available against the Chargers. However, I do have some Facebook comments to catch up on, as Ignacio Rico says, good luck with Bosa and that depleted O-line. He's about to have a field day, 3 sacks on Sunday. Well, let's put that down as a hot take, but I think it's a good call.
I completely agree. The good news for the Dallas Cowboys is what we saw against Tampa. They're not going to see very many better defensive lines. They're going to see individual players that are better than what they saw. But as a whole, that Tampa Bay defense is as good as there is in the NFL. They were last year. They brought everybody back. So the quality that we saw, they only gave up 1 sack. Now, nobody's going to, pretend that Dak wasn't under pressure. He was. But the sack and the rush and the hurry and all of that, I think that's really going to play into it. Is Joey Bosa going to have a field day? Yeah, they're going to line him up on the youngest dude, whoever that young dude is, whether he's on right tackle or he's on left guard. I have a feeling that's where Bosa is going to be coming at him. And 3 sacks, I think, is a legitimate concern. But sacks can also be prevented by play calling. You can get the ball out, you can get the ball moving, and that's where Kellen Moore will come in if Bosa does look like he's going to go Derek Brooks on us, go, or who was it that with Arizona that got 5 sacks? If it looks like that's headed, that's also on deck. Quarterbacks can cause sacks just as much. Chandler Jones. Quarterbacks are just as responsible for sacks as offensive line.
And Siberian Sneaks also adds on Facebook Live that Tony Pollard has looked better in the last 2 years, and he did look pretty solid last week against Tampa Bay. He had 3 carries for 14 yards, which was one of them was an 11-yarder. But the more impressive thing was that he was targeted 4 times and had 4 receptions for 29 yards. So that's also a nice weapon to have in the backfield to complement Zeke. But again, Zeke only having 11 rushes for 33 yards. I don't know. What's the sweet spot there? What's the number you want to actually see him at?
About 20 to 25 carries, what I think would be where you want. And you talked about the rhythm of a running back. When you run Zeke in the first quarter, you're running it for an investment in the fourth quarter. I mean, that rhythm builds up, and the constant pressure that Zeke is capable of really only gets paid off when you see that. To the previous point, real quickly.
Of Rico's about Bosa?
It was about Tony Pollard. Pollard had a great week. I don't expect to see a lot of Tony Pollard this week, except for spot third down duty. I'll tell you why. If Zach Martin stays at left tackle, and we'll hear from Jerry in a bit about whether he will or why he will, and if Terrence Steele is playing at right tackle, Zeke is a hell of a running back, but he is also a veteran running back who is very capable of picking up a block, picking up a rush in, chipping on an end. And if Terrence Steele is out there, I expect to see Zeke staying in the pocket, protecting Dak as much as we'll see Tony Pollard going out. And if Pollard's in, there's going to have to be a tight end over the top on that edge, wherever Bosa is. So I think Pollard's going to be in a tough position this week. I think if those catches are going to be out there, it'll be more for Zeke kind of sneaking out and looking like he's going to chip on what a rush end is. But Pollard, I'll tell you, you can tell he's part of this offense and he works very well in it. It's just going to be tough for him to do what he wants to do if they don't have a right tackle that can contain, and it doesn't look like they will coming up on Sunday.
Well, we're going to definitely talk more Cowboys in the second half of halftime. This has been the first half of halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
Friday nights mean one thing. San Antonio Sports Stars High School Football Game of the Week, powered by Hill Electric. Jason Minix and Kevin Brock have the call each week beginning at 7 p.m. from the GPS of Texas broadcast booth. A Friday night Texas tradition.
Friday, the Madison Mavericks take on the Churchill Chargers. Pregame at 6:30, kickoff at 7.
High school football each week from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners to tell you they have the perfect solution for your family's complete water treatment. The top-of-the-line CareSoft Elite Plus 1 filter is an advanced 2-stage system built to protect your family from harmful contaminants that may be in your water. Right now, save $1,000 on the CareSoft Elite Plus 1 system while supplies last. Discover the Alamo Water Softeners difference. Learn more at alamowatersofteners.com. Again, the website, alamowatersofteners.com. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
New surveys show that Americans don't think vaccines are enough to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. 80% want thermometers used in public places to screen for COVID-19. 36% know that non-contact devices are inaccurate, and 60% would not recommend that friends or family members enter places that screen with them. To be safe, use Exergen at home, at work, and in public. It's the only thermometer proven accurate by more than 100 published clinical studies. Learn more at Exergen.com.
I'm Serena Williams. You watch me live on TV. So why am I in a British drama you watch on demand?
Fancy a dance, milady?
Sure. It's because DirecTV Stream brings the best of live TV and on demand together.
Oh, you're quite the dancer.
Mr. Jeffries, you're making me blush.
Oh.
Introducing DirecTV Stream, the best of live TV and on demand with no annual contract. Get your TV together at directtv.com.
Requires high-speed internet and compatible device. Content varies by package and location. Restrictions apply.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by Utsa.
What's up? This is Riley. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the applewood bacon. It's savory, and then it's also kind of sweet. And I think the combination of bacon with chicken and Colby Jack cheese, it just really knocks it out of the park.
Hey, I'm Tanea. A little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Grilled Chicken Club sandwich is the chicken. It's so juicy. It's grilled to perfection. I'm going to devour this sandwich.
Order the Grilled Chicken Club sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Guys, stop what you're doing. Give me a few seconds of your time and let me give you a piece of advice that will change your love life forever. Have you noticed you've been losing a little pep in your step? Has your lady friend asked you, is everything okay? Do you find yourself having trouble rising for the occasion? Do you stress out before that special moment and wonder, is it gonna work? Guys, I'm gonna let you in on a big secret. You don't ever have to worry again. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula has you covered. Mojo is the 100% guaranteed male enhancement formula that guarantees lasting success, if you know what I mean. The Mojo Male Enhancement Formula is safe, natural, and effective every single time, guaranteed. Mojo is available in a fast-acting spray and a quick-action capsule. Do yourself and her a favor and call Pure Line Nutrition in San Antonio today. They'll get you set up for success. Call 210-494-2210. That number again is 210-494-2210. Mojo Male Enhancement, only available at Pure Line Nutrition.
Hey, San Antonio Sports Star listeners, this is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Thanks to fans like you, you can now buy Kielbasa products just about everywhere. We hope you continue to enjoy our handcrafted, small batch smoked meats because we sure enjoy making them for you. So grab some today and let me know what you think. My number's on the back of every pack. Right by my promise that if it's not the best you've ever tasted, I'll give you your money back. Find Kielbasa at a store near you today.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson, Karl Schoening. Halftime.
It's halftime. I'm Karl Schoening. James Pledger talked my ear off as he returns back into the production room. Rob Thompson sitting across from me. Twitterless Edwin. How you doing, Twitterless Edwin? Running the show. Appreciate you being here. He let us know a little piece of NBA news as we break into NBA news here in the second half of halftime. You can join us on sasportstar.com, see our faces on the live stream. That also goes out to Facebook Live and YouTube, as well as, if you're tired of scrolling, Twitter. You can hit us up on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-3776, and tell us what the Spurs should do with Thaddeus Young. Should you start him? Should you trade him? Well, what do you guys think about that? Because there's a report that won't seem to die that I got here from Flex from Jersey, and he has about 6,000 followers. He's somebody that follows the Suns. He claims to have a source, as a lot of people on Twitter do, that he says, I'm told the Suns are still focused on a Thaddeus Young deal and have offered Smith and Saric. No first-round picks being discussed per source, and most of the Suns would add as a second round. League rules causing delays, but a deal could get done around training camp. Negotiations ongoing.
Do you think Thaddeus Young will ever put on a Spurs uniform?
It's a weird thing because the Spurs have always been so, I guess, tight to the vest when it comes to media and talking to media, but they have their own media. And whenever a Spur had signed or been traded for this offseason, they made a video kind of promoting them. And Al-Farouq Aminu, Chandler Hutchinson, who's no longer on the roster, and Thaddeus Young, who I would suspect to be in position to be the starting four on the Spurs right now.
And I'd like to have him.
They just tweeted out a picture. Welcome to the team, guys. I would love to have Thaddeus Young. I've been a Thagic fan since he was with the 76ers back in the day. I was hoping the Spurs would get him during the cleaning out of the process. Didn't happen. But they do finally have Thaddeus. He's the oldest man on the roster at 33 years old. And as much as I am a Lukas Šamanić fan, he's going to be 21 this season. It's okay if he's not the starting four until he's 24. You know, hey, if he's the starting four at 24 and he ends up having a good 7-10-year career with the Spurs, that's great. That's why you draft a guy 19th overall. But right now, if the Spurs, as I imagine they do, want to win games, Thaddeus Young is a very good player to have.
Will that be a barometer to you, what the Spurs' short and long-term plans are as to whether Thaddeus is here or he is in Arizona or anywhere else for that matter?
So when I first saw this trade with DeMar DeRozan, I was taking a nap, and I woke up from the nap, and it seemed to me that when I woke up, the Spurs had several more pieces to add to a Ben Simmons trade. As Thaddeus Young can help a contender. He's not just somebody who's a starting four on the Spurs. He can help a team that's in a championship window, be a starter on the 76ers or the Celtics or the Suns who are in the finals, what have you. I understand if the Spurs are holding out for a first-round pick because maybe they're in asset acquisition mode versus win a championship mode. But at the same time, if you're not getting a first-round pick, you're taking on Dario Saric to cut into your potential $30 million of cap space next year. They're one of 3 teams that have cap space next year. I guess if you really like Jalen Smith that much, because Smith is another young guy, didn't play too much last year, played 1 year at Maryland. As you like to say, he's a bouncy big. There's pluses and minuses to trading for a guy that was drafted 10th overall, who maybe if he doesn't go 10th, who knows where the Spurs had him on his big board in front of Vassell potentially, because not that this means too much, but R.C. Buford scouted Jalen Smith in person. There were pictures going around of him at Maryland games. So there's obviously some interest there to tie the Spurs, but we've gotten to the point of the offseason where I'm reading tweets from Flex from Jersey, some random podcaster that follows the Suns. He probably knows somebody, but that's why you need sources, not a source.
Well, this seems to fit.
It does fit.
If you think about where Phoenix is, and you mentioned it, you got to be a contender to want to go get Thaddeus Young. He is not a building block. He's a finishing piece. So he shows up and can offer something that they don't currently have. Then you look at Dario Saric, who is hurt and quite frankly doesn't seem to fit their plans whether he was healthy or not. Those guys gone. Thaddeus Young arrives. You mentioned that the Spurs scouted him. Buford was there. I think after the NBA draft, we were proven correct in that Kai Jones was very high on the Spurs list, and Kai Jones and Jalen Smith, well, they're a lot alike. So that's a need that the Spurs were obviously going to address if they thought that Josh Primo was going to be around later. They were thinking they could swoop in and find a guy that everybody was kind of waiting to be ready next year, but that didn't happen. It turns out Memphis was kind of liking Primo as well. So they had to jump up and get who they got. That tells me that this is a deal that could imminently happen because it's something that the Spurs have chased. It is something that the Suns need. And Dario Saric, while we won't see him next year, I don't think, no matter where he is under contract.
Because he's recovering from a torn ACL that he suffered in the finals.
So you got to figure at least 8 months there, but he might be something that would be useful if you're dumping salary at or need to match salaries for whatever deal that could happen at the trade deadline. And that might be when the Ben Simmons deal finally happens. So I think that this is something that is worthy paying attention to in the short term. If it doesn't happen by training camp, I don't think it'll happen.
And yeah, that's, I've been seeing various conflicting reports about whether or not Thaddeus Young can be traded immediately versus 60 days from now. But Botello Franklin joins us on Facebook Live, says trade Young for a first and contracts we can cut. And I guess in a way that's what Saric is. And as a Luka Šamanić supporter, another Croatian being added on to the roster, somebody who's a career 30-something percent, I think he's 37% three-point shooter in his career for Saric. That would be a good sort of role model to have. But so with Thaddeus Young. So there's pluses and minuses to every move that you make. The biggest minus right here is, what if the Spurs cannot move Saric's contract, and that takes away a third of your potential salary cuts? And we can get into who they might go into with that $20 to $30 million that they have. But would you want Jalen Smith and Dario Saric's expiring contract for the year after to limit your potential chance of going after a Zach LaVine or a Bradley Beal with that money? Because those are the guys that the Spurs could potentially throw $30 million at if they so chose.
Spurs had right about that this year, right? They had a little bit of money.
They had around $50 million, but it seemed like they were mainly going after John Collins, who got bigger than that.
It did appear they were chasing that. Swinging for the fences has only worked for the Spurs once.
Marcus Aldridge.
And they went and got it. And we could define whether it was a failure or success, whatever it might be. The problem we're back into as San Antonio Spurs fans is we have to understand where we are in the NBA pecking order. It is hard for us.
It's not LA.
Yeah, there are so many other cities that have so many things that the young professional millionaires want that you have to find the right guy. And that's a good thing because that kind of weeds out the chaff. A lot of guys that you might think you want, they say they don't want to come here. That tells you he probably didn't want you. I see the Spurs doing this more as a piecemeal approach. They're going to use that $30 million, but not on one guy, unless something falls out of the trees that involves Ben Simmons. And if it doesn't, I think we're going to see 10 million here or 15 million there, another guy here, and still some money in the bank as they wait and continue to rebuild. I think the only way they spend all that money that will be available in at the end of next season, the 30 plus, is if it's on Ben Simmons. If it's not, they're gonna hold it back. They're gonna extend the young guys, and they'll pay the ones that they grow and not buy a player from without, because quite frankly, the ones that would come for the most part are guys that we don't really want. And that's a sad place to be as a Spur fan, but that's where we were before, and we're going to have to build our way out of it by building from within and adding that extra piece every now and again. I don't think that paradigm has changed much, and it's unfortunate, but that's where the Spurs sit.
It's an interesting thing I've thought about. Major markets obviously have their pluses, the nightlife, the additional money that you can get from endorsements. But there's something about the way the Spurs handle their players, which obviously some people aren't always a fan of, because you don't get to know these guys as well because there's not as much media attention in the San Antonio market. But down the road, maybe not this year, maybe not in 2 years, but 7-10 years from now, media is going to explode so much, especially in the LAs and New Yorks of the world. You can't go out for dinner and enjoy your evening without paparazzi, camera phones, snapping a picture of you or your date.
You act like they hate that.
Some of them might. Some of them don't. Some of them might.
Everybody will look now and say, well, Milwaukee did it. Milwaukee won a title as a small town, a small market. Well, they drafted the freak.
Yeah, and
it really helps. And the Spurs did it over and over and over, but they drafted Tim and then they drafted Manu. And we'll start with David
and Kawhi and Tony.
So all the things drafts. That it was only through the draft. We augmented. We tried through free agency, and I don't think that's going to change. Milwaukee did it, and it gives small market teams a little bit of hope. But the fact is, you have to be better as a GM in San Antonio than you have to be as a GM in Los Angeles. You have to be Brian Wright has to be a better GM in San Antonio than any GM in any large to mid market, because he has the extra weight of trying to lure people or players to a place that, quite frankly, they never in their lives envisioned ever living. I mean, everybody thinks about living in New York or Chicago or LA, or you could name any other of the resort places. San Antonio, we're a flyover town. It's hard to convince people unless they get here and they go, oh, wow, this isn't bad. And that happens 9 times out of 10. But most guys don't want to take that shot.
I think it's a good place to raise a family,
Absolutely.
San Antonio. I'm not sure, like you say, it's the best place to be a young millionaire.
No.
That's a Miami. That's an LA. Although, you never know. There are those low-key guys who maybe have families, like a Bradley Beal, who's going to be 29 and he sees the young talent, or maybe not. But just because in the past it hasn't worked doesn't mean that it should deter you from setting yourself up in the future to do what you want to do as a GM. And Brian Wright, to his credit, has seemed to be a very swing for the fences, crafty GM. I've enjoyed the moves that he's been making. I like the McDermott signing. I like the Zach Collins low risk, high reward signing. We'll have to see where all of this ends up as the Spurs enter this new era post the Kawhi trade, post the Kawhi era, post the Big Three era, because for a long time they did have their guys in-house.
You forgot the last post.
What was the post? What was
the last post era?
Oh, well, no, we got to let Pop at least get 26 wins.
All right.
Yeah. Like I said, if Pop wants to get 26 wins and retire on the spot, I will give him a standing ovation. That is the hardest record to break in NBA history.
And I'll tell you something, that will also kind of play in, I would think, if I'm Brian Wright. We got to get you 26 wins, man. We got to get it this year.
Yeah.
So maybe we keep a little bit of talent that we might have moved just to ensure that we're not pressing a little bit in March. You know what I mean?
I agree. We got Siberian Sneaks joining us on Facebook, sounding like Rob Thompson. Karl, so full of young hope.
It is. I'm jaded. I'm sad that I don't want to bring you down. Fly, young man. Go out and see the world, and I'll try to catch you when the world beats you down. But it's just, I've been here too many times, and I've seen this team with money in the past and big dreams of going in and getting free agents, and it's just not a realistic expectation, especially when there isn't a lot of hope for the near-term future. There just isn't, and I don't care who you go get short of LeBron that will change that.
And yeah, that's the main thing is where's the next superstar going to come from? Because the Spurs did have a long line of superstars, and it all stopped right in its tracks when Kawhi did what Kawhi did. And now we got the next superstar to find, and maybe he's on the roster in the name of Keldon Johnson. But you got to give these guys a little bit of time. He's only 21, so I'm looking forward to seeing what Keldon and the young guys can do. But be patient, people, if you're not a patient person, because they do got some very talented players, and Vegas can say whatever they want, set the lines wherever they decide. But this is a young, talented team that maybe is missing that superstar, and maybe that'll be developed from within. I love talking Spurs. We have a couple other notes to talk about real quick before we head into the headlines. Aaron Gordon signs his extension, 4 years, $92 million. Great for him.
Yes.
Great for Denver. That's a good fit. He's only 26 this season.
Aaron Gordon, what a fantastic get for the Nuggets. It was a late get. They had him with Michael Porter Jr. You expect to have a fully healthy Jamal Murray next year. Certainly the Joker is still around. That is such a good young team. While the old dudes are going on in LA probably are in pretty good shape, Denver's going to compete if they can just stay healthy and get a little bit of luck. That is an unlucky franchise.
And before we get into the headlines, two more things that we'd like to touch on. Botello Franklin says on Facebook, I think you should build and draft well. People always said the Suns could not get free agents, and they were able to get Chris Paul and a finals berth. They did trade for CP3, but they did keep CP3 once he hit that finals berth, so good for him. And B says, I need a Primo shirt. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Did you see the paws on that young pup? He has some big hands at 6'6" and 18 and a half years old. I can't wait to see where he ends up.
Big hands and big feet. You know what that means?
Big socks?
Big socks and big gloves, yeah.
Yeah.
Double X. Hey, we try to keep you fully informed. If you're going out to get some lunch, run in and get me some Fideo Loco. That sounds pretty good. Bring me a bowl by. While you do that, I'll have Karl get you all caught up on the headlines. Let's do it.
Karl's Countdown.
Headline 2. Urban Meyer, because he just has to be asked about every open head coaching job, says there's no chance he'd leave Jacksonville Jaguars for the USC Trojans.
Okay.
Somebody wasted their question on that.
If you're a USC fan, you don't want Urban Meyer. So, okay, go ahead and ask. I think USC is going to turn out finally. This will be, 3 consecutive strikes. I think they've struck out completely, got a new AD. This hire is going to be the most important hire they've had since somebody walked in and hired Pete Carroll. They got to get it right this time.
In the world of Urban Meyer, when he denies something, doesn't he usually end up there?
Well, it depends on what his doctor's appointments look like. If he starts acting a little tired and talking about his family.
I'll tell you what, after week 1, he looked like he needed to see a doctor.
This is his last coaching job. He's either going to be successful or the job might put him in the hospital. I do believe it. I think this is Urban's last stop.
All right, headline 1. Florida Gators quarterback Emory Jones and Anthony Richardson, quote, know the plan heading into Saturday's game against number one Alabama. It'll be a division of labor with those two.
Dan Mullen has lost to Nick Saban 10 consecutive times over 2 different schools. If you didn't use double quarterbacks before, maybe it's time to do it now.
Right?
Whatever you used to do those 10 other times, change it.
So here's the plan. When we're down 22, you go in. If it's 21, you get one more series.
I'll tell you, how'd you like to know your coach had lost to the guys you're playing 10 times in a row as he's putting the game plan together? Like, you sure, coach? Did that work? 8 years? No, it didn't, did it? Try it again, Dan Mullen. I don't know, as an SEC member, and Texas listen closely, I don't know whether I want Alabama undefeated when they come into College Station just a little under a month from now, or do I want them with 1 loss and pissed off? I don't know which one I want, so I'm not sure as Aggie fan which way I'm going. I think naturally I'll root for Dan Mullen to break the streak, but I'd rather have Alabama feeling good about themselves when they roll into College Station.
Yeah, you don't want a Nick Saban team pissed off while Zach Calzada is under center
you don't
in
want
that
to
game.
poke that bear. So, go Bama, roll tide.
This is a man who said he was worried about his team's intensity going into Mercer State.
The Fighting Librarians.
Right? Yeah. All right. Headline 0. Milwaukee Brewers star Christian Yelich to give away 10,000 tickets for a series against the Los Angeles Cardinals. Always good to see some charity as he is buying tickets in appreciation of the fans for next week's game for a 4-game series against the Cardinals.
So what's Milwaukee's record right now?
I don't know, but
Are
he's
they legit selling those tickets, or are they just giving them away?
They're giving him the Yelich. He's not buying the 10,000. It's like, we need to pack the house.
Ain't nobody coming anyway.
Is he writing a handwritten note too? Does that help?
I would think so. Christian Yelich, thanks for coming out. You're fan number 7. Thanks for coming out. You're fan number 8.
But they're in first place right now.
Oh, they are in first place.
I'm a Brewers fan.
Are you really?
Oh, wow.
You're the one.
Yeah, they're about to clinch the NL Central.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's doing this.
But can they give away 10,000? Are there 10,000 seats available, or how did he do that? Do you know?
I don't know. I read it though on ESPN, but they're going to win the World Series, by the way. But they're about to clinch the NL Central.
For Braun. Let's do it for Ryan. Do it for Braun.
Yeah.
Let him go out a winner.
Even though he cheated, he'll go out a winner.
It's baseball.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying in baseball.
Yeah. I'll take back everything negative I said about the Brewers.
Yeah.
They're in first place.
No one pays attention to them.
Now that the
missions
missions aren't involved with them anymore, I only pay attention to San Diego.
All right, those are your headlines. Thank you, Edwin. Edwin, you also had an additional headline that I thought was interesting coming from Tom Moore out of Philadelphia, because as this Ben Simmons rumor of the day must be met, this one is actually being reported, not a rumor. What do you got?
Yes, Tom Moore of the Bucks County Courier in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you know where
Bucks
that
County,
is.
yep.
Bucks County. He said that the Sixers are expecting Ben Simmons to play. He said 2020, 2021, but he meant 2021, 2022. They know it's going to be bumpy, but they expect it to get better. They said the Sixers don't plan on making a deal that would drop him back in the standings and are not getting viable offers. But if he doesn't show up, they will find him.
I absolutely believe all of that. The Sixers aren't getting viable offers. You need to show up to work. Ben Simmons, you need to come ready to play for a championship. We just gave you a 5-year max extension, whenever that was. You got 4 years left on it. Yeah, Ben Simmons is going to play for the Sixers again, and maybe things will work out. They'll rehash things.
Sound wishful thinking, man.
I am a 76ers fan, and as a Spurs fan, I don't know if I would give up what I want as a 76ers fan. What I want as a 76ers fan is Derek White and DeJounte Murray, and maybe even a first-round pick, and maybe we throw in Tyrese Maxey if you give us that first-round pick. But as a Spurs fan, man, it'd be hard for me to give up even DeJounte or Derek. But if it gets us Ben Simmons, it's a tough one. And then that's how far separated both sides are.
Ben is not going to play for the 76ers again. He's already been called out by his coach. He's already said he ain't coming back. I think there's toothpaste out of the tube. I think behind the scenes, he and Embiid don't get along. It's over. It's just a matter of how it's going to end. Whether that ends before, maybe he will be there. I'll put it this way: he will not be a Sixer by the end of the season. He might start the season if Daryl Morey continues to drive the bargain or ask for the bargain that he's out there trying to get. But I can't imagine this season ending, because if he does come back, it's not going to work. You get the feeling it's just going to fall apart. When we come back, let's talk Dallas Cowboys real quick. The question of the week has been the offensive line. I appreciate how we've got this set up, because outside of the Dallas Cowboy world, I think there's still the perception that Jerry Jones is, way too much involved with the coaching and play calling and things like that. And he very well might be, because we're going to hear from Jerry as to what's going to happen with the offensive line, though Mike McCarthy thinks maybe something else might be going on. We'll talk to the Dallas Cowboys for sure. And I do want to get back into the Ben Simmons rumor, because the Ben Simmons rumor of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it a little bit more.
All righty. Yeah, we're going to have fun with that. Thanks for spending your midday break with us. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
Every football season history is made.
Prescott walks the dog. Touchdown.
Every football season history is written.
Perfect strike to Amari Cooper.
San Antonio Sports Star has been alongside history as the exclusive voice of the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody knows the Cowboys as we do. Not even close. Catch every touchdown and every play here. Exclusively on San Antonio Sports Star. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Rudy J here, and I want to tell you about Manrique Custom Vision. Dr. Manrique has performed over 58,000 laser vision corrections, and he's the only Z-LASIK trainer in the area. He treats nearsightedness, farsightedness, and even astigmatism. And all procedures are blade-free and pain-free, and they just take seconds per eye. Get the vision you deserve without glasses and contacts. Call 354-2020 today to get the Manrique difference. Don't compromise your only set of eyes. Call 354-2020 today.
Hi, welcome to Smokey Moes.
At Smokey Moes Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokeyMoesBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smokey Moes Barbecue. The pit is lit.
If you're a CEO, CFO, COO, or any other O, you already have too much on your plate. The last thing you should be worrying about is whether to renew your company's lease or find new office space. I'm Scott McMurray with Bottom Line Realty Advisors here in San Antonio. We've helped many of the great businesses of San Antonio save thousands of dollars on their office leases. There's no reason to overpay the landlord. The best part of all, our services don't cost you a dime. Don't wait to the last minute to negotiate your next lease. Even if you're a good tenant with no plans to move at all, you're the most vulnerable to getting a bad deal. Visit BottomLineRealtyAdvisors.com. Proud to be endorsed by Dave Ramsey.
Contact Bottom Line Realty Advisors at 210-535-7800 and tell them Dave sent you.
Bottom Line Realty Advisors. We get the landlord off your bottom line.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, then get ready to pay up. The IRS has giant private collection agencies actively tracking down folks who owe the IRS. So if you think dodging them was stressful in the past, it's going to get a whole lot tougher. Optima Tax Relief has this advice. Don't wait. Solve your tax problems now before it's too late. Optima Tax Relief works to stop the demand letters, stop the aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS collectors from targeting you. Ask Optima about the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands, and nobody knows this program better than they do. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, and they get results, having resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get a fresh start. Call today for your free consultation.
Call 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022. 800-709-7022.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMSS was our answer. HIMSS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/radio. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMSS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
Rob Thompson, Karl Schoening. Halftime.
Plan is to go with Steele, and he'll do a good job. He's a young guy that we're proud of, and he really had a great rookie year last year, relatively speaking, and he'll do a good job out there. We'll give him lots of help.
I wish I had an accent like Jared Jones.
He had a great year, relatively speaking. if you're comparing him to someone who's never played football before, he had a great year. You're comparing him to Zach Martin, not so much.
Jerry Jones says on KLRD 105.3 The Fan that T. Steele is going to be the starting right tackle.
San Antonio's own. Going to get the gig.
So the funny thing about that is, we had this joke here. We got to slow the roll a little bit here. Who's really in charge of who gets to play out there on the 100 by 50? And a little bit of controversy here in comments warring in the media. Mike McCarthy has his own thoughts.
I'll just say this about the right tackle. We'll work all the combinations that we've been working to this point. The obvious is LC will not be there, so we'll sort it out at the end of the week.
And Zach is not one of the combinations you're looking at there.
We'll just sort it out at the end of the week. Yeah.
So you're working through combinations. It's not Terrence Steele that's a full go at right tackle.
He's part of one of the options, definitely.
Stop asking me, please.
But you're not doing snaps exclusively with one guy. You're still spreading the first team snaps around.
I always thought you only had to avoid the question two or three times. I didn't think it went to four. This is new record. Hey, I appreciate it. I'm all about setting records.
Yeah. I understand these coaches. They don't want to talk about who might be starting in place. They want to give you all the potential options. That's how it goes. But Jerry also had something to say about why Zach Martin. You want to talk about that real quick? Yeah, go ahead. Which part?
I think this is Kyle Shanahan gamesmanship. They already know who's going to do it. They're not working through combinations on Wednesday. They already have an idea.
Are you calling Mike McCarthy a liar?
I think Mike McCarthy was doing his damnedest to try to be Kyle Shanahan, but they wouldn't let it go.
Dancing around the question.
I think he knows exactly who it's going to be, and I think it's going to be Terrence Steele. But the question behind this was, did they go to Zach Martin and say, hey, man, there's a guy named Bosa who likes to line up on the edge, and we got Noleo Collins. Do you mind spending a week or two over on the right side? And I get the feeling he said no. And I think Zeke said no. For me to run, I need to have Zach Martin leading me, not protecting the front side of Dak. I think that there was a plan, and I think ideally he would be the best fit there, but to run the ball and do the things that I think the Cowboys want to do, Zach Martin needs to be right where he is, not only at guard, but to protect young center who didn't have a very good week last week. So you leave that protection and you fill in with a backup Connor and you move him over to right, you got just about the same kind of problem. So I think Zach stays at guard to protect center, Tyler Biotish, and whoever they decide, whether it's Terrence Steele gets the start, and there'll be a tight end next to him all game long, and a fullback chipping if they need to, or Zeke chipping on whoever comes, and that's going to be the offense. But Mike doesn't want to talk about it now. You will get more on that, and I promise you, we'll ask that very same question on Friday morning as Mike McCarthy joins Rudy and myself for R&R in the morning for his regular Friday breakfast with R&R. It'll start this week. And so we'll ask him again, and I bet we get the very same answer.
Yeah, so if you missed it, Zach Martin was on the COVID protocol list against Tampa, and then now Noleo Collins is out 5 games at least due to his substance abuse policy, failure to show up to drug tests. And we're trying to figure out who is at the right tackle spot. A lot of people, including Rudy and Rob on R&R in the morning, 7 to 10 here on San Antonio Sports Star, said that they're thinking it's probably going to be Martin. However, Jerry Jones, who gets to at least negotiate the contract, says no.
Not really. I think we feel like that our offense, really, I hate to be trite about it, but it's just best served with him at right guard, and we've got a good alternative, and he will be very helpful to the fact that Steele will basically be out there in the game, and he'll be helpful to him. He will help out that situation. But but really you're reluctant because when you make a move, you talk about position flex in the offensive line, but when you make a move, you're dealing with 2 people at different positions rather than just one new one in there at the same position he's been practicing. So it's a little more to it relative to what you're giving up when you switch a guy out of a position into another one. That's two position switches.
Two position switches.
And that's a good thought process there. I like it. Jerry Jones obviously knows what he's talking about. He's owned the Cowboys for going on 35 years now, something along those lines. So he obviously has his opinions on it. And I think Mike McCarthy sort of added on to it as how Zach Martin at guard helps either side of him on that offensive line.
I mean, definitely. And also, the right guard definitely helps who's playing right tackle too. So I think at the end of the day, Zach playing right guard is a huge benefit to us because, just the caliber player that he is, as far as his ability to win a matchup, but also what he brings inside, with the recognition and so forth. The guards and centers are definitely trained the same. So there's calls. Crowd noise, we're going to work it this week. I don't know how big of a factor it's going to be.
We are in LA.
Those things are something you really focus on when you have a young center that, the guards can help.
Nice subtle shot at SoFi Stadium where the people in LA maybe don't care about football as much. They're just being forced fed it. We got a nice stadium. You got two teams. Come on out. Games every weekend here at SoFi.
The Chargers who don't even really belong. So, yeah, I don't think crowd noise is going to be quite the issue it was with the Rams and the Bears. You never know. It could actually be that. I think we're rearranging the deck chairs on. It could be the Titanic if they go down. At the end of the day, this offense can score some points. I don't think that the running game was highlighted as much as it should. I think they need to step up to that. But I also firmly believe that this defense is going to keep them in the game all game long. I think that Justin Herbert's a heck of a receiver or quarterback, and I think they've got good receivers. And Eckler, heck, you can bust one, but this is a team that I think didn't get the defense didn't get the credit they were due despite the 4 turnovers. They're going to run Zeke this week. They're minus Gallup. Cedric Wilson's going to step in. This is going to be highlighting Zeke, and I think Zach Martin at guard is about highlighting Zeke and getting him the ball. One, to get Bosa out of the backfield and make him respect any kind of play actions that might occur and run away from him. That's what you do with those great edge rushers. Just go the other direction, head toward your other great tackle in Tyron Smith. This is going to be a stumbling block, but that offensive line, even without Zach Martin last week, was respectable. 1 sack, and the quarterback got well over 400 yards. I think that we're worried about something that is worth concern, but that offensive line got enough work last year. Terrence Steele he's not an all-pro by any stretch, but he proved that he can handle it just long enough. There'll be help there taking care of him. We're talking about, again, a Cowboy team that is bereft of real controversy. We're just looking at the little stuff with Leal getting suspended. I don't think that at the end of the day, this is that big a deal. And the Cowboys, while they're focusing on it in the press, I think they've moved on with this offense. I think they're going to focus on running the ball and finding that balance inside the running game and inside of the passing game. And if they do that, we won't talk about how bad that right tackle was because it won't come up into play.
And that's the funny thing. I'm very happy we dedicated a whole segment to an offensive line because we only talk about the offensive line when they perform poorly or when they get penalties, which is, I guess, playing into both. We do have a couple comments here to catch up with. You can catch us on YouTube and Facebook to send us comments. Ignacio Rico said, Keenan is about to cook y'all up like he did on Thanksgiving a couple years ago. Hey, I'm an Eagles fan. I wouldn't mind seeing that. And obviously, this isn't just a throwaway game for Dallas. However, Botello Franklin adds on Facebook that it's going to be a Cowboys home game this weekend in LA.
It will be.
I agree with that. There are probably more Cowboys fans in LA than there are Charger fans. However, San Diego is there might still be some faithful that'll make the trip up the 5.
I'm sure that they will. They've appeared to travel before. It's just even when they were trying to fill that soccer stadium a couple years ago, it just didn't ring true. And that was when they had Phillip Rivers to hang their hat on, a younger version of that. There'll be a few fans, but it's going to be Cowboy land. It'll feel very, very silver and blue.
Yeah, it's basically, like Patel said, going to be a home game. Cowboys fans travel really well as well. They're all over the place anyway, so maybe they're not even traveling. They're just excited that they get to see Dallas come to SoFi Stadium. It'll be a fun one. You can catch it right here on San Antonio Sports Star. 3:25 kickoff, 2:30 pregame with Brad Sham and company. Is it Ari Timken?
All right, Tim
Timken
hosts
does
the
pregame.
pregame as well, coming out of the Star. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. Obviously, it's going to be a fun time. So glad football's back. Week 1 was great. Week 2 is going to be a lot of fun. Y'all should keep it in here for all of your Cowboys talk, as we are the home for your Dallas Cowboys. And Rob, the people have spoken. You guys want to see the death of a segment. I listen to the people. I can understand that sentiment. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Thank you all for spending your midday break with us here on Halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Our shoes have more miles on them than your car does. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Texas Rangers bounced back against the Houston Astros in Game 2 of the Silver Boot Series, 8-1 last night, evening the 4-game series at a game apiece. The Rangers held Houston without a run until the 9th, thanks to a stellar start from Jordan Lyles, who went 7 shutout innings on the mound for Texas and only allowed 3 hits. Adolis Garcia had a great night at the plate, going 3 of 4 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a home run. For the Astros, Zach Greinke picked up the loss in his start, pitching 5 innings and allowing 8 runs on 5 hits with 3 walks. Game 3 is tonight with first pitch slated for 7:05. That can be heard right here on San Antonio Sports Star following the Blitz. And in San Antonio baseball, the Missions dropped Game 1 against the Hooks in their final series of the season, 9-4. Those are your baseball headlines. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Karl Schoening.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text BAIL to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Hey, it's Rob with my good buddy Jack Overman from Service First AC Repair and Plumbing. Hey, Jack, when someone calls you for plumbing or an AC repair, can you fix it that day?
No sweat.
What if it's in the middle of the night?
No sweat.
Weekends?
No sweat.
Service First AC and Plumbing has put San Antonians first for over 14 years, with trustworthy and reliable technicians on hand 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Service First is standing by to help you when you need them. Hey, Jack, what about free quotes?
No sweat.
And half-off service and free tune-ups?
No sweat. With Service First AC Repair and Plumbing, we don't sweat the small stuff or the big stuff.
Call Service First AC Repair and Plumbing. 210-NO-SWEAT. That's 210-NO-SWEAT. Anything else, Jack?
Thanks for having me, Rob. My team and I would be honored to assist you with all your AC and heating needs. Just give us a call, and we'll head right over. 210-NO-SWEAT.
210-NO-SWEAT. That's 210-NO-SWEAT.
License number TACLA 27100C.
If you think vaccines alone will protect you from COVID-19, think again. More breakthrough cases of COVID variants show that vaccinated people are still vulnerable to the deadly disease. To be safe, monitor regularly for fever, as it's the leading sign of COVID-19. Use Exergen, the only thermometer scientifically proven to detect fever. And beware of non-contact devices that miss 5 out of 6 fevers. Remember, vaccines are not enough. So protect yourself and your family with the Exergen temporal scanner. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Listen up, sports bettors. This is Hall of Famer Warren Sapp here to tell you about my favorite sports book, BetUS.com. I only endorse one sports book, and that's BetUS.com. Just like me, BetUS is the Hall of Famer of online betting with more than 25 years in the biz. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know when you win, you're gonna get paid. You need a sports book that offers all the action to make every game feel like the playoffs. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US, and they will get you set up faster than I can run the 40. Nobody in the industry gives bigger bonuses than BetUS. I play at BetUS, and so should you. Now is your turn. Join now. Call today at 1-800-69-BET-US. That's 1-800-MY-BET-US. My favorite sports book, BetUS.com.
Join now and get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Call 1-800-MY-BET-US.
Tell them Sapp sent you.
Howdy, San Antonio. Chip Ingram from the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant, inviting you to come out and enjoy patio season. We have newly remodeled patios, garage doors, and everything else you need to enjoy this great South Texas weather. As always, ice cold beer and specialty drinks. Happy hours daily from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And our kitchen is open from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. See you soon at the Roo Pub and the Angry Elephant at 281 and Redland Road.
Your source to local news and sports in San Antonio begins with the San Antonio Express News. We've collected, written, and shown the stories that matter most to San Antonio. Look no further than the San Antonio Express News to continue to provide information and strength to the community. Whether it's on the field or on a court, we provide the ground local coverage. Go to expressnews.com for the most up-to-date high school and college sports coverage. Subscribe today at expressnews.com.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones people count on. You can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. Backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because you've got everyone's back. We've got yours. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger. For the ones who get it done.
Saturday afternoons mean one thing: college football. Oh my God! Hear games from all Power 5 conferences all season long, every Saturday from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, this is Sarah Spain, and you're on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Thank you, Sarah. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. I'm Karl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Edwin, even though it says James Pledger, if you're watching us online, is the one running the show. He's Twitter, so you can't hit him up. Rob Thompson's at Rob Thompson ESPN. I'm at Karl Schoening ESPN. If you're watching us on San Antonio Sports Star,
thank you.
SASportsStar.com. Watch. Make sure while you're there to hit up our Pro Football Pick'em. You know, football season is back. So is San Antonio Sports Star's Pro Football Pick'em, brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. Go to SASportsStar.com and just pick the winner of each week's slate of NFL games for a chance to win weekly gift cards, Pinkerton's Barbecue, and the Mellow Mushroom. Sign up now at SASportsStar.com and make your picks. Brought to you by Pinkerton's Barbecue. Hey, that's
mellow mushroom in there too.
Not something I'm too bad at, if I do say so myself. I think if you have your sheet of paper written around with a lot of other sheet of papers that you write on, my pick'ems weren't too bad last week.
Judge yourself against the rest of the San Antonio Sports Star crew. Make sure you get your picks in. We'll get all of ours in on Friday as we do on the regular. Don't forget, we got Friday Night Lights coming up this week, and Jason Minix will be on the call. We got a good one for you. It's like Churchill and Madison on the docket, and a very special color analyst will be joining Minix for the next couple of weeks. Yes, Rudy J going to work late doing the game this Friday night. We're excited about Friday night lights coming back into play. You're going to be busy this weekend making some calls as well. UTSA soccer is going to be busy.
I got UTSA tomorrow. Thursday, it's a conference opener for Conference USA. UTSA hosts Old Dominion. That'll be fun. And then, I got the weekend off after that. I think I have a gender reveal that I'm going to with my girlfriend. So
is that still a thing? Are they still blowing stuff up?
I don't know if they're going to blow anything up, but we'll figure out one way or another whether it's a boy or a girl. I'm not privy to that information.
That's
at the
new
moment.
thing. That was not a thing.
It's a social media thing.
25 years ago, there were no gender reveal parties. You just kind of let everybody know if you wanted to make sure you had the right baby clothes for the shower. But other than that, there wasn't any gender reveal parties. I'm all for it.
It was the baby shower. I don't know if the baby shower is still a thing. Is it still a thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I thought it was sort of a way to replace and make it gender neutral, because the baby shower used to be girls' time.
It is. Well,
it's still girls' time.
I'm not stepping into that pool
we don't know
right
anything
there.
about it.
You know, over the weekend we watched NFL. A lot of us did. That ratings average up 7% over last year. 17.4 million on average watched all of the NFL games. It was very much higher with the Cowboys and the Bucks on Thursday. Very much higher Monday night with the overtime game with the Raiders and Bears. It appears football fan is back. They're not completely back to 2015-14 levels, but significantly up over what we saw not just last year, but the previous. Why do you think that is?
I have a theory, and this is maybe inaccurate. So if you know, you can hit us up on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-3776. That's 656-ESPN. If I'm not mistaken, the streaming services, and a lot of people have been cord cutters, but you can still stream.
Mm-hmm.
The streaming services have worked with Nielsen to start to figure out how many people are watching it. And that's just something that I got as a notification on my YouTube TV that I was watching on.
Beginning, though we're still not seeing a full accounting of it yet. I think that the networks would very much like to have more of those numbers on the streaming side to justify and bring in their advertisers. They are back, and I think that's more important than anything else.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. I've never understood small sample sizes. I don't agree that they are a reflection of the general population. I'm Karl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. Edwin and Pledger will run the show. We appreciate y'all. This has been Halftime on San Antonio's Sports Star. Jason Minix with The Blitz is coming up at 4 o'clock. Thank y'all for spending your midday break with us, and make sure on your way home you listen to Jason.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
The storyline of Kanye is entertaining.
I'm telling you, and bless his heart. I say that both.
You sound like a country dude. Like, that's all country folks say, bless his heart.
I know that he's got some medical issues that he doesn't tend to.
That's another country word, tend to. Well, that's country. It don't get no more country than tend to.
Rob Thompson, Rudy J. Weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Vaccines are not enough, and accurate thermometers are essential for everyone. COVID is once again a major concern, and fever is the key symptom for both the flu and COVID. An accurate thermometer, like the Exergen temporal scanner, is essential to detect fevers early and reliably. Studies have shown that non-contact thermometers are ineffective and therefore dangerous, as they create a false sense of security. Exergen is working with a single focus to ensure that everyone who needs an accurate thermometer can purchase one. Learn more at exergen.com.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right? Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix has the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Your safety and full satisfaction is My Collision Center's top priority, using only original, not aftermarket parts at no extra cost to you. If you have an accident and you want direct factory parts at no extra cost to you, choose My Collision Center. Visit mycollisioncenters.com.
1911 Cigars is the premier cigar lounge in South Texas, providing quality, affordable cigars in a professional, inviting environment with a large covered patio with TVs. A BYOB establishment, 1911 Cigars strives to allow the avid cigar connoisseur a comfortable place to relax, socialize, network, and of course enjoy a great cigar. 1911 Cigars is available for private events and has private cabanas with TVs, fire pits, and heaters. 1911 Cigars at 207 South Main Street in Cibolo. Online at 1911cigars.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor